STEMEX spectrometer is a very simplistic device. Many spectrometers used in measurements in different places, whether you talk about hospitals where they measure samples to understand the constituent of these samples, whether we talk about in different industries where there are materials and they want to know the chemical composition of these materials, what does these materials contain in different fields where we measure quality of liquids, for example, quality of oils, for example. In all these areas they use a very important instrument called a spectrophotometer. But just know that these are the instruments that can be used to actually detect the constituents of these different samples, and in so doing we can actually detect the quality of these different samples. So the setup that we have here is very simple. It contains a light source. You can see a battery which we have used in other setups. This is the battery, and this is the side where we can power our setup. So as you can see, there is a light emitting diode here which is white. It's giving white light. It's now turned on. If I press the switch, it's now turned off. You see there's no light. But then if I turn it on like this, we have light, white light, you can see it. And we have a simple resistor here which is 220 ohms connected in series with this LED to control the current going through the LED so that the LED does not get destroyed. You remember the principles that we studied in our initial office setup. And the other thing we have here is a place where we could put our sample. So in a simplistic way, for now, we have a sample holder. So a holder which could hold liquid. This is actually, we call it a cuvette, a plastic cuvette. But it's actually a plastic material which is transparent. It allows white light to pass. It allows light basically to pass through it. It's transparent. But at the end, we have a photodetector, a light-dependent resistor, which is the one we are using here as our photodetector. Here is the photodetector. Next to this pen, you see a component which is a photodetector. There is also a resistor connected close to it so that it controls or it balances so that we get the input that is required. So the resistor here, it does what we call potential division, so dividing the voltage between these two parts to enable us to actually capture the input that we want. And then our spectrometer, our simple spectrometer setup, is connected to another device which is an Arduino board. So let me show you where we have an Arduino board. Here is our Arduino board. Here is our Arduino board. And this Arduino board, we will discuss more about it later in later discussions. But for now, just know that Arduino board is a computer. So what it does, it enables us to capture the light coming from our simple spectrometer. We capture the amount of light that is received, which is actually converted in form of voltage, and then we can now process this light using other softwares. So as you can see, our Arduino is connected to my laptop. You see the connection. So the first thing we'll do now, you see our spectrometer is open, so we'll close it, but we have light already turned on, and we have basically our sample. But what I want to do first, we will cover our device, we'll turn the power off, and then see what level of intensity, what level of light do we read on the screen. When we don't have light and we don't have a sample in our sample holder, is 0. we have 0. So what is going through our photo detector is 0. Basically why? Because we don't have light. We have turned it off.